The mission was carried out with stealth and with precision. There were no American casualties. And while Congress is divided after receiving briefings on the extent of the damage, I'm sure that we've derailed Iran's nuclear program, at least temporarily. And there's some valuable deterrent effect for America's adversaries who witnessed last week's exercise. Then, last Tuesday, President Trump left the White House en route to Europe. At the time, there was a question as to whether Israel and Iran would honor a ceasefire. That caused the president to offer the most unfiltered, non-controversial, direct words that I can recall anybody ever saying about the Middle East.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Cut to The Hague, where he arrived for NATO meetings and was able to wrangle an agreement from our allies to more than double their defense spending target from 2% of gross domestic product to 5% by 2035. Also, while at NATO, in a press availability, he did something rare for Trump and I found rewarding. He showed empathy. It came in an exchange with a Ukrainian journalist who said that her husband was a soldier. She asked whether the U.S. would supply her country with Patriot missiles.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He is.
He's there now. They do want to have the anti-missile missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay?
Also in that presser, he was more reflective and respectful than usual of our allies.
They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff.
What's going on, everyone? Sauce with Kenny here today, and I wanted to kind of give my reactions to that intro you just saw. Was a CNN anchor. I forgot his name. I always forget these people's names, but shout out to him. I think, you guys know I'm a very big critic about legacy media, and not just legacy media. I just hate the fact that people corrupt knowledge, facts, observable reality with their preferences or their previews, or try to get you to frame or interpret events in a certain way. And the commentary he provided there, I'm all for it. I'm fine with that. You don't have to co-sign everything Donald Trump does. It's fine. You can say, hey, I don't agree he's doing it in the right way, but he is effective. He is getting his agenda across. He is getting a lot of wins. And this guy, if CNN can hire more people like him, they can save their network. I honestly believe that, because as a critic, right, I don't believe in just criticizing people. I actually agree with trying to provide a solution or an alternative to get them closer to where I want them to be. Because honestly, this commentary there was so refreshing. I was like, wow, 6 minutes of him just being a journalist. And this is the difference, because a lot of people in my comment section says, hey, Kenny, what does the media have to do to get you to trust them again? What does factual, objective journalism look to you? It looks like this. He calls out his bias. Hey, I don't agree with it. I don't like what he's doing, but he's effective. Is Donald Trump effective? Yes, he is. He may not be effective in the way that you want him to be. And this is something that he's starting to realize on his own network, because a lot of the reason, right, like I talk about it constantly on this channel, that journalism is the most liberal profession, but also they are on audience capture, because after he gave this monologue, and we're going to react to the full thing together on this video, but here's a clip of him reacting to some of the comments that he was getting after he made this monologue commentary. Let's take a look.
What are your thoughts at social media? You can hit me up on all the usual platforms, and I'll read some throughout the course of the program. From the world of X, what in the hell are you talking about? Damn, you've set the bar so low for Trump that an ant can't crawl underneath. I don't understand the second part of it, but okay. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about offering an objective analysis in view of what's transpired in the last 2 weeks that I've laid out substantively and with data. He's been on a roll. It might not be the role that you desire, but I like the word that David used and that Selena Zito used in her column this morning, consequential. Who among us could deny how consequential Trump 2.0 is turning out to be. But in order for you to recognize that, you need to have an open mind about what's transpiring.
Imagine that. And this is why I always talk about, like, when liberals have this idea of what they think they are and the reality of liberalism. You guys are not very tolerant people. You guys are not very open-minded people, right? You have a certain preference, right? And this is why CNN is the way that it is today, is because in a sense, their audience is the one holding them captive. Because anytime one of their anchors goes against the narrative and not just go outright painting everything that Donald Trump does as negative, crisis, oh my God, it's a fear-mongering moment, they reacted. What the hell are you talking about? Like, to me, liberals don't pay attention to politics as much as conservatives does, and I'm starting to come away with that inkling a little bit, because every time you hear liberals talk in a public forum, they're always late to the party, they're always lagging behind, they're always trying to discount what the hell Donald Trump is doing, and I find it almost annoying in a way. Here's Scott Jennings, he's back. And he's just going to let you know win after win after win for Donald Trump, because end of the day, Donald Trump ran on these agendas. Donald Trump delivering on the things that he campaigned on? The answer is yes. So as a liberal who did not vote for Donald Trump, how can you therefore say that, oh, the expectation for Trump's on the floor? Oh, he's not living up to his promises. Oh, he's backing out on his promises, when some of the things that he's getting credit for, some of the things that people are calling him effective for, are some of the things that he ran on. And I always find it surprising. It's like, yeah, liberals are not open-minded. Yeah, liberals are not as tolerant as they pretend to be. Here's a clip, and then we'll roll in right into the full clip.
Carte blanche stop him, which hugely increases the power of the executive.
Yeah, look, this is a great week for him, not just because of this ruling, but earlier in the week, the Supreme Court handed him the ruling on being able to deport illegal immigrants to third-party countries, essentially. So he's on a little bit of a winning streak in the courts right now. And what a lot of Republicans are saying is, nope, we're not tired of winning yet. This happened. The stock market's at a record high. He brokered the ceasefire in the 12-day war. Peace broke out between Rwanda and the Congo. I mean, gas prices are at a 4-year low for the summer. I mean, win after win after win. And this particular one is the most important, because these individual judges had been, I think, unfairly stopping the president from governing. He won the election. They didn't. We don't have 600 presidents. We have one president. And now he's going to be able to actually govern. And so you could make an argument that this week or the last 2 weeks, the best week or 2 weeks of his entire presidency.
And this is why I say that the left, they only operate in narratives. They only operate in perception, not the truth. The truth is Donald Trump this is one of the best weeks in Donald Trump's political career. And you're talking about expectations on the floor, liberal, right? And I want to dig more into his commentary, because I gave you a good 2 minutes of his monologue, but I want to focus more in the middle, because I think that's where a lot of the substance of his commentary relied on. And I think I want to react to it in full time with you guys and give my thoughts as usual throughout. Let's get into it.
Expects the same with India. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Bloomberg that the deal was signed earlier this week. China's Commerce Ministry said Friday the two sides had further confirmed the details of the framework. Of course, Trump's initial imposition of tariffs wreaked havoc on American markets back in the spring. But now the markets have rebounded and grown. The S&P 500, NASDAQ hit record highs just yesterday. And it's not just the stock market. Inflation, the great economic fear of recent times, seems to be...
That the media overblown, that liberal media overblown and created a psycho crisis, right? And it leads into my thoughts that I told you guys on this channel, that depending on your political affiliation, it colors the way you look at the economy. You're less panicky about the economy if you voted right, if you're conservative, if you lean right, if you're more in the middle, you're less panicky about the economy. If you're lean left and you're liberal, progressive, you're panicking over every little thing about the economy. And this is the kind of reporting that was going on. And remember, are the articles coming out, the Trump inflation fears were overblown. Liberal experts month after month after month keeps getting the projections wrong, yet liberals still trust them because they're giving a negative kind of opinion about the direction in which Donald Trump's economy is going. This is why I point out political bias all the time. And you can tell when someone is biased and when someone is not. If I tell you honestly, hey, I prefer this approach, here's why, that's an honest take. That's an objective take because I let you know it's a subjective view. And you can pinpoint, oh, yeah, he's pointing out something objective and he's inferring this about it. And that's what reporting used to be. And this is what he's doing. Hey, I don't like what Donald Trump is doing, but he's effective. He ran on these issues. He said that this wouldn't cause inflation. He told people not to panic. Here's the results. And CNN's liberal audience tried to chastise him for being objective for once. Make it make sense.
Tamed. The rate is now reported at 2.4%, down from a high of 7% just 4 years ago. Meanwhile, blue-collar workers have seen real wage growth of 1.7% in Trump's first 5 months. This is the largest such increase in nearly 3 generations. Notwithstanding its impact on our national debt, there's also...
Imagine that. Working class. Oh, Donald Trump duped the working class, and Democrats will have a lane to come into. Your wages are increasing, the working man. Why? Because decades ago, Democrats forgot the trade-off of mass immigration. Mass immigration hurts the working class more than it hurts the rich, than the college educated. Liberals forgot this. Democrats forgot this. And as you deport these people, illegals out of the country who works under the table, who works for cheap, who works under the minimum wage, right? Which suppresses the working class's wages. As they're being deported out, the employer is forced to negotiate with the American worker, and that usually increase their pay, increase their salaries. And Democrats don't want to acknowledge the reality of mass migration, that if you don't put constraints, if it's not controlled migration, you hurt the leverage and circumstances of the people that are already in this country.
So hope among some that Trump's big, beautiful bill will give further financial relief to blue-collar workers, as well as create incentives to build more factories in the U.S. Some already see this happening. For instance, General Electric has just announced that it'll invest almost $500 million in moving production of washing machines from China to Kentucky. And then there's the border. Crossings have slowed to a trickle. According to CBP's May update, Southwest border encounters have fallen to about 282 a day, a drop of 93% from last year and the lowest since the early 1960s. Perhaps the loudest cheering for those border numbers is coming from America's Latino community, which might initially sound counterintuitive. On Thursday, Pew Research released an enormous data analysis of the 2024 election, which contained several surprises. High on that list, President Trump won a bigger percentage of the Latino vote than previously believed.
Imagine that. Democrats don't want to hear this. The liberals don't want to hear this message. They don't want to hear the fact that they were wrong. They don't want to hear the fact that on the issues, they're not as good on the issues as they pretend to be. I point it out all the time. How is you being pro-American and you're for foreigners breaking the laws of your country and rewarding foreigners for breaking the laws of your country by giving them citizenship, by providing health care, benefits, and all that stuff at the expense of your American taxpayer? How that makes sense, Brandon Johnson? Right? And this is the backlash that Democrats get, because Democrats, they don't want to come and understand where people are actually coming from. They don't want to actually hear their critics. They want to ignore their critics. They want to dismiss their critics. Behind Trump's 2024 victory, a more racially and ethnically diverse voter coalition. Everybody wants DEI until DEI happens. Oh, we want more black people to participate in society and professions. Okay, then when more black conservatives pop up, black Democrats are the biggest ones mad. Why? I thought you wanted diversity. Like, pick your struggle. Pick your struggle. Either the Democrats are bad and you acknowledge that they're bad and give them opportunities to adjust and fix themselves, or you keep Democrats the same, pushing the same message. I hear Kamala Harris is struggling. She don't know whether she wants to run for president or run for governor of California. And even if she does run for governor of California, I'm hearing a lot of Democratic donors don't want to support her. And it's not because she's a mixed biracial woman, whatever I just said. It's not because she's a woman. It's because she's not a good candidate. And a lot of Democrats love to make excuses for their faulty execution on policy, their faulty execution on the outcomes that they provide the American people.
Hillary Clinton had a 38% lead over Trump among Hispanics in 2016. Joe Biden beat Trump in this demo by 25 percentage points. Kamala Harris's margin among these same voters over Trump, just 3 points. Even more surprising, perhaps, Pew Research concludes that if everyone had voted in 2024, contrary to the widely held belief that higher turnout helps Democrats, Trump would still have won. The data show 44% of non-voters said that they would have gone for Trump compared to 40% of non-voters who would have gone for Harris. So if more had voted...
So all the excuses that Democrats be giving, oh, it's low turnout, people were discouraged not to vote. Data time and time again keeps proving that, you just ran a bad candidate. Kamala Harris is a bad candidate. This is why the Republicans, when they call her a DEI hire, because she didn't go to a primary, she didn't have to fight for her job to be the primary candidate for the Democratic Party when they were running for the presidency. She made a lot of mistakes. The first month in, you didn't want to take any interviews. You were hiding from the media. When you only had 3 months to run, you raised $1.2 billion and you lost all the swing states. You just lit money on fire, Democratic Party, because you don't know how to execute. You didn't put a good candidate. I predicted a month ago in October before the election. I wrote a video. You can watch it if you want. Kamala's pending collapse. Kamala's campaign's pending collapse. I got a lot of heat on the video, especially from Black Democrats, especially from Black liberal women. I got a lot of heat for that video. I said Kamala doesn't know how to talk to people who are not Democrats. Here's a flashback of CNN saying that the main reason she lost the primaries in 2020 is because she's so used to being in Democratic circles that she don't know how to talk to non-Democrats. She don't know how to run or manage her campaign effectively. She takes radical positions that's not in favor with middle America, and you thought she could win in a national election. And this is the same critique people are having for the Madami guy in New York City. But you got to learn the hard way. Fine, learn the hard way. But don't get mad at me for having a different view of things. Black people are not a monolith. Then you run into a Black conservative that have a different things about DEI and all this other critical race crap that you spew, that you use to mentally handicap our people and our children, and you want to get mad at a Black man have a different opinion. Make it make sense. But the Black people are not a monolith. I'm tired of Black Democrats sometimes. I'm getting Black Democrat fatigue because you guys like to police the thoughts of Black people. Oh, Black people are supposed to be this. Black people are supposed to be that. And now look at you. Backing up a failure party. You loyal to a failing party that don't even want to hear you. Jasmine Crockett, I heard she lost leadership position. Black Democrats mad. You're not effective. That's the biggest problem. You don't give good outcomes. Everywhere you look on a blue city, deficit, budget deficit, budget deficit, budget deficit. People complain about taxes. People complain about the social programs. People complain about how Brandon Johnson has to raise taxes to make up for the $900 million he spent on illegal immigrants. And you want to tell me that mass immigration doesn't hurt Americans? Yeah, okay, Democrat. You sure as hell benefit from mass immigration. And this is why many people are favoring Trump.
His margin would have grown. Yesterday came a huge decision from the Supreme Court. The High Court declared that federal district judges exceeded their authority when issuing nationwide injunctions against Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. This will, of course, strengthen executive power both for Trump and for his successors. And finally, a Democratic socialist just won the nomination for mayor of New York City. And perhaps
for my
you're
Democrats
wondering,
here.
well, how does that affect Trump? It gives him the perfect foil, someone to play off in future political battles. This morning's New York Post references campaign literature for Zohran Mamdani, which advocates for increased taxation for, quote, richer and whiter neighborhoods. Just imagine what Trump will do with that.
Imagine, right? But you, CNN, liberals, Democrats, who are the only people who majority of them trust the mainstream media, you'll get mad at that commentary. And that's some of the commentary I've been saying. Look, I'm in the middle. I lean right. I'm a right-leaning centrist. I openly admit that. I believe an honest bias is better than a dishonest objectivity. And a lot of Democrats do these dishonest objectivity when really it's a biased take, a biased perception on reality. And this is one thing I'll leave off to my Democratic friends, my Democratic viewers. I want people who agree with me, who are neutral, and who disagree with me to watch my videos. Because my main thing is I'm offering clarification. I'm not necessarily trying to convince you, but I clarify in a way where it's convincing. And at least you know where I'm coming from. At least you know where many conservatives are coming from. I'm not meaning to attack you. I'm not meaning to demean you. I just think you guys push a lot of bad ideas. And the reality is, and shout out the 95th birthday of Thomas Sowell. And I'm going to use some words of wisdom that I gained from him. And I'm encapsulated in this quote that I want to end off the video is that you could ignore reality. You can pretend that things doesn't exist. You can pretend that you're a woman. You can pretend that you're a man. You can pretend you're a child. But you cannot ignore the consequences of reality. When you're not getting your period at the end of the month, transgender woman, right? When you have to do certain things that's different from the traditional experience of a woman, reality shows you that, yeah, you're not a woman. And you can't ignore the consequences of those decisions. When people say Democrats are not the party of the lesser evil, and you see that Trump is getting a more racially and ethnically diverse coalition, that's consequences of your actions, Democrat strategists, Democrat supporters. And I warned about this all the time. The biggest people that push people to Trump was Harris supporters. You're a sexist and a racist if you don't want to vote for a mixed Indian, Jamaican woman. Nah, she got bad policies. Don't matter how much lipstick you put on a pig, it's a pig. No matter how you wrap up the politician, if the policies are bad, the policies are bad. But you don't want to admit that you have bad policies, Democrats. Instead, you want to double, triple, quadruple down. Okay, have your cake then. Eat cake then. And here's the consequences. You lost all 7 states, $20 million in debt, and the candidate that you said was so qualified is struggling whether to go for governor or stay in the sidelines to be the next nominee for 2028. That's the choices Democrats got stuck with. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.